I'd like to call this public hearing of the Allendale County Council to order. At this time, we'll have a public hearing for our third and final reading for the amendments to ordinance number 93-74, known as the Animal Control Ordinance. Is there any public comments?
Can you read what the amendment is? Not to be a pain,
Okay, here.
Quite a few. Well, I guess we can read over it real quick. Amendment number 1 is redemption. The owner or keeper of any pet which has been impounded under provisions of this ordinance shall have the right to redeem such pet at any time within 5 days upon payment of a fee as follows. 1, a pet which has been properly inoculated, licensed, microchipped, and neutered or spayed, the fee shall be $10. For other pets, the fee shall be $10 plus the appropriate license fees, the charges for rabies inoculation, DAPPV, and Bordetella, a $20 microchipping fee, and the cost of spaying and neutering the animal. No further animal shall be redeemed or adopted from the shelter. No animal will be released from the shelter without proof of inoculation and without an implanted microchip. The requirements of spaying or neutering may be waived if the owner meets the criteria under the exceptions provisions of Section 4. The requirement of spaying or neutering shall not be waived under the exceptions in Section 4 when the animal is impounded a second time for any violation of this ordinance. 3, in addition to the redemption fee, an impound fee of $20, a board fee of $6 per day per pet shall be paid by the owner or keeper when a pet is redeemed. The fee set out of this section shall be doubled for any animal impounded twice or more within the same 12-month period. 5, for a pet which has been properly inoculated, licensed, microchipped, and neutered or spayed, the impound and redemption fee shall be waived if it is the animal's first impoundment. If the pet's microchip can be traced back to the current owner and the pet is redeemed within 48 hours of impoundment. Amendment 2, Section 18, prohibition impoundment of unattended animals. It shall be unlawful for a person to leave any animal in the vehicle unattended by a person of such maturity so as to be responsible for the animal's health and safety. An animal control officer or other law enforcement officer will remove the animal by reasonable methods under the circumstances if the animal is reasonably believed to be in distress. Unattended animals left in the vehicle shall be impounded. Redemption shall include the assessment of the fine resulting from the violation of this section. Amendment number 3, Section 9, animal care generally. A, it shall be unlawful for an owner to fail to provide his or her animals with sufficient and wholesome food and water, proper shelter and protection from the weather, veterinary care when needed to prevent suffering, and humane care and treatment. B, it shall be unlawful for a person to beat, cruelly treat, torment, overload, overwork, or otherwise abuse an animal or cause, instigate, or permit and dogfight or other combat between animals or between animals and humans. Any person violating any provision of this article shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor offense and shall be subject to the penalties for such. Each day of violation shall be considered a separate offense. Punishment for violation shall not relieve the offender of liability for penalties and costs provided for this article. Amendment number 4, Section 20, general penalty, continuing violations. A, whenever in this ordinance an act is prohibited or is declared to be unlawful, or an offense or misdemeanor, or the doing of any act is required, or the failure to do any act is declared to be unlawful, or an offense or misdemeanor, and no specific penalty is provided for the violation thereof. The violation of any such provision of this ordinance shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500 or imprisonment not more than 30 days or both. B, except as may otherwise be provided, each day any violation of this ordinance shall continue shall constitute a separate offense. C, any person or entity who violates any provision of this ordinance may be issued a uniform ordinance summons in a form prescribed by South Carolina Code Section 56-7-80. Issuance of the uniform ordinance summons shall vest jurisdiction in the county magistrate court to hear and dispose of any charge for which the uniform ordinance summons was issued and served. The uniform ordinance summons may be issued by the animal control officer any city or county law enforcement officer, or any other city or county official or employee designated as a code enforcement officer. The amount of the bond prescribed by the magistrate for the offense and the procedure for posting the bond shall be noted on the uniform ordinance summons. Law enforcement officers or code enforcement officers are prevented from accepting bonds. The uniform ordinance summons shall not be used to perform a custodial arrest. The uniform ordinance summons shall contain a notice that failure to appear before the court without having posted bond or without having been granted a continuance is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine up to $500 or imprisonment for up to 30 days or both. Any comments? If not, we will proceed. Want a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir. Make a motion that we accept the third and final reading.
Where we gonna do the third reading in the regular meeting, right?
Yeah,
Is this public hearing?
yeah.
Or we got to do the third reading?
We got to do the third reading in the
Okay.
regular. And I imagine right now, we just, probably better just to close it out.
I think you just close
We'll
it out,
close it
because
out.
you got on your agenda.
Yeah.
The third reading, and all this. Just close out the public hearing.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we close out the public hearing.
Got a motion that we close the public hearing?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So I guess we'll wait till 6.
Wait a second.
I'd like to call to order the regular county council meeting for Allendale County. At this time, I've asked Ms. Teresa Taylor, Council Lady Teresa Taylor, to give the invocation.
Let us bow our heads, please. Oh, gracious Father, we thank you for tonight. We ask that you come into this meeting to guide our thoughts and mind in order to do your will, to serve your people in this community, Lord. All these blessings I ask in your name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Declare a quorum. We're missing Chairman Gooding, who is not able to attend tonight. We need to amend the agenda. We need to delete the July 21st and August 18th minutes from the agenda. And we need to add August 22nd, August 29th to the agenda. We also need to add Henry Chris from Palmetto Breeze to executive session to discuss some contractual matters, and also Mr. Jimmy Duncan for executive session for some contractual matters. And I think that's it. We have a motion to amend the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to amend the agenda. Any discussion?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
According to, like you said, you want to change, but we don't have the other minutes, so why are they on the agenda if we don't have them?
Ms. Judy?
The minutes that we don't have, it's not on the agenda, but it's on the agenda. Is there a reason why we don't have them, or, because it's hard to remember what's happening from one month to the next. And all our minutes we have in our package is August the 9th, August the 22nd, and August the 29th. The July meetings we were having is not in the packet, except for July the 12th, 4. Is there a reason why all the minutes are not in the package?
It's because we've been averaging a meeting a week,
Even at that,
and it takes time to get the meeting straight and get the minutes done.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to be notated that we might need to get a full-time clerk. It doesn't matter, but it's hard because we're going back ever since July, and it is currently September, and we're having a meeting. So we got to get these minutes to make sure that we keep abreast of what we're doing, and make sure we answer the citizens' questions that they're asking us, and making some resolution towards solving problems that we have in this county.
All right, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody out tonight. Like I say, we're missing our chairman. He got busy and couldn't get here, but he sends his best wishes to everyone. Next, we got public comments. We don't have any. We've got just Mr. Duncan for executive session. I guess we'll move right on to council reports. Since Mr. Gooden's not here, I'll get started with the Allendale County Public Safety Committee report. The Allendale County Detention Center for the month of September, they served 1,975 meals, had 39 arrests, 6 from the Allendale Police Department, 23 from the Allendale County Sheriff, 1 from probation, 1 from Highway Patrol, 7 from Fairfax, and 1 from other agencies. The daily detainees housing was 19. They had 5 transports total for the month. Fire had a total of 28 calls. They had 1 structure fire, 10 alarms, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 3 vehicle, 3 gas leaks, 1 assist EMS, 7 landing zones, 1 other. They've noted some issues that they're still working on. I think all the stuff we agreed on last month, they're well on their way to getting those problems solved, so they were happy about that. And from the County of Allendale EMS report, total emergency calls 102 for the month. And I'll just read this real quick. The Allendale County Rescue Squad will be hosting a hybrid emergency medical technician class The tentative start date is November the 4th, 2022. Funding was secured through the Lower Savannah SC Works to train 10 individuals employed with Allendale County Rescue Squad. Low Country Regional EMS Council of Walterboro, South Carolina will be the lead teaching institution. And also they're having a big raffle. I put some information outside if anybody's interested. I would say that the sheriff-elect contacted county council with some needs on some vehicles, and we were able to secure 4 used vehicles for the sheriff's department that were in much better shape than what we're currently using. So I'd like to thank council and everybody for making that happen. I think that's all I have. Mr. Carl Gooden?
No, nothing other than you probably noticed between Allendale and Fairfax that the spec building is coming along very nicely. Rather impressive foundation they put together there.
Coming along nicely.
And Miss SCA is here. She may want to comment on that.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Things are moving along very well at our spec building. We're still on target for completion for Q2 of next year, which is really just in, a few months. THS and Agricel are still right in line with us, and we actually have already submitted it for several RFIs, and I have even had 1 site visit. So hopefully by the time they have it constructed, it will already be leased or sold.
Thank you.
That'd be nice, thanks. All right, Councilman Robinson?
Thank you, Vice Chair Conley. Just a couple things. On recreation, we just completed our baseball season, moving into our football season, and we're planning a trip for all the team members, but specifically for the midget, which is our smaller group of players, to visit a professional team. I think it will be either Charlotte or Atlanta. We asked them for contribution. If you'd like to give monies to the recreation department to help with that trip, we certainly would appreciate it. We did have a very successful baseball season, and the kids enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to a full-time program for the youth in our football program. So that's a biggie. As you know, this is football season, and we're certainly going to ensure that the kids be safe. And once they get ready for this trip, they will be sufficiently supported, and we'll have a safe trip there and back. Also attended the Association of County meeting on last Tuesday, and this is basically one of our sub-committees, steering committee. I serve on the Judicial, Correction, and Public Safety steering committee, and basically we're looking at legislative issues that will be tackled with the new general session come January. And basically what we try to do is get input from county council and county officials, and we notify legislators and help with writing any kind of legislative laws or recommendation that are certainly close to county officials statewide. So that whole process is ongoing. We have about 3 different steering committee, and as I indicated, I serve on the Correction, Public Safety, and Judicial. So we tackle a lot of issues, and one of the things that came out of last year's steering committee was the employment of 18-year-old as correction officers. That's one of the things that the steering committee pushed to the legislators, and we were happy to see that it's been enacted in law. So we had hope at one time to push for the 18-year-old to become police officers, but the compromise was, why don't we bring them in as this area of law enforcement, the correction side, and later on, when they become 21, they can move over into being full-time police officers. So, I also serve on the budget committee for the Association of County, and we meet back in November and then again in December. Also, we had a Zoom meeting with Lower Savannah Council of Government. I chair the ad hoc committee looking at our benefit package for retirees and present employees. And that's pretty much was a very good meeting. We presented the case from the committee, and the representative, Councilwoman Taylor, is one of our representatives that served on the executive committee. We made a presentation to the executive committee, and we're going to make another presentation in October to the full board, and hopefully we can we'll be able to make some headway. They will say yes to the new amendments to our retirement policy, mainly health issues, and it's a liability issue to us as it is to most associations. If you have retirees and you're going to offer insurance after retirement, it becomes a liability when you cannot cover that sufficiently. And so that's what we're trying to tackle now with the Lower Savannah Council of Government. And I think that should do it, sir.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay.
Councilwoman Taylor?
Yes, and to add to what Mr. Robinson said, going all the way back over everything he said, he's exactly right. I'm part of that committee, and the executive committee has not approved that. So, because it was being some issues with some of the a few employees, so we are going in more in depth to make sure that we be fair to everyone. So, but it will be presented to the full board. But the executive committee just may have some concerns. And I also served on, Mr. Robinson and I served on the personnel committee, and we was having interviews. We scheduled interviews, but we hadn't made any decisions yet. But the positions that are available for the county is the assistant airport, for the airport, and for public works. We hadn't made any decisions, we just came up with it, and I think now we're in the process of meeting with council to decide, full council to decide the pay and the job description. So that was the personnel committee would be recommending to full council to decide what the pay is going to be, and I think it's going to be external and internal advertised, and what the pay scale will be. So, but we had made no decision. So, but the personnel committee met, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd also like to add, I'm all over the place tonight, but our audit finally got completed, and I'd like to thank Administrator Mole, Ms. Esther Bridges, Ms. Christy Hudson, Ms. Judy Kynard for putting in the extra work and dedication to get a lot of these unfinished items that we've had kind of lingering around for a few months. So I'd like to personally thank you all on behalf of the council for all of your hard work you've done for the last month or two. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, does that mean we have our money now?
Well, I think Mr. Moore may have something. I don't want to take his thunder too much, but anyway, at this time we'll ask our interim administrator, Mr. Joe Moore, for his report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the council, and to help, maybe to confirm this, Robert Smile, it is the, we wanted to make that announcement that those pending funds that were relevant to the audit, we have received it, and met with, of course, Ms. Alice and Ms. Esther and I, so the monies are being allocated, but it has been released and in deposit. And we do want to thank the team again, so it is here. That's one of the things I want to start off with, and thank you again for having released that. Next on the administrative report, I'd like to, a lot of times we have accomplishments within our community, in our workforce. I believe a lot of times that is not announced and it goes overlooked. So I've talked with, again, the chairman asked him tonight, Donnie Hutto, our IT. And Donnie has been working on this project for projects, approved for a long time, to bring us up to a point as far as security. We realized a while back we had some breaches that could have caused some really serious damage. But Donnie came in and said that where we at, we have a historical accomplishment, and I told him tonight that I wanted to forfeit some of my time again to give him the opportunity because of the work that he did, if you would allow him to come and make this announcement of where we is in history for Allendale County.
Got to make sure we get you on camera now.
I can't operate both ways, so I'll be out of the shot a little bit. I appreciate it, and I'll be brief. Thanks, Mr. Mole, County Council. Recently, last week, I got a letter, and we have been going through a CJIS, Criminal Justice Information System audit, for the Sheriff's Office and the Detention Center. We started this planning phase back when PRTC started coming in, and we started designing how we're going to hook this network up, the minimum requirements that we had to meet to be in compliance, and the equipment that we had to have on site to do that. We have a guideline to go by that's put out by the FBI. It's 253 pages long, and we have to abide by that. SLED is instructed to come down and make sure that we're in compliance, and this is minimum compliance, to be able to access these records and have these files stored in different locations. So with that, I received a letter last week from SLED that said we was confirmed for the Sheriff's Office and the Detention Center. We're certified, and that's the first time that I've seen a confirmation letter in over 20 years.
Wow.
So,
Well, thank you for your hard work. I know you put in a lot of time and a lot of effort.
sure did. It's not over with, but it's.
Well, we certainly appreciate all your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And also, as far as the administrative report, I would like to say also that I got a late email this afternoon again from Crystal in the auditor's office that that of course you decided to move forward with the formal budget, the mills and the collection rate. She needs a letter, of course, confirming that in order to move forward. So we've already sent you, I think, a copy of the letter I got from her, but we'll work with you to get. The deadline is the 23rd. But the only thing she needs, she's heard that we're going to move forward, but she needs it in writing.
Okay.
And the other thing is, in your last council meeting, of course, Ms. Creech came before you, of course, with her representative and confirmed what you have already did to approve the airport grants. And believe it or not, on this afternoon, the contractor actually came in the office looking at where you could file the commencement of work that will begin tomorrow. I asked him what would be the duration of the project, because the airport will be closed, and he said that of course they have 120 days, so their projection is 4 months that our airport, but they will support to put some boots on the ground tomorrow. Along with that, we got a call relevant to the second portion of that grant, which you talked about, and it's $100,000 plus that went with it that you approved. But in order to release it, I think they were working with our previous administrator to get this endorsement, and you got to sign for it electronically. So you also will find an email relevant to that we need to get that signed and returned back tomorrow. But again, it's not written, it's electronically. So we'll follow. But those monies, he said, is from the FAA. He says that it's just another pot of money, which is a joint effort to get the apron construction completed. That's all that I have there. Just one item in executive session.
Got a couple of questions. Joe, the last time we met with Ms. Creech,
Right.
early in the week, and she didn't have an exact starting date, but she was trying to get her jet fuel and the other fuel to a certain level. Will she be able to accomplish that before
We able to shut it down?
Yeah.
I'll definitely follow up on that. Like I first said, I didn't realize that the construction was going to begin that quick, but he came in today because some counties require a commencement of work to be registered and filed. So the contractor came in, but I will follow up on that ASAP to make sure before Boots get too far into it that she have reached her plateau, right? Because we need to be able to continue even though. So I'll follow up on that in the morning.
Okay.
All right. Now, our county attorney report, Mr. Walter Sanders.
I've got a short one. This is for information purposes. As y'all recall, there's been pending for a number of years now a suit by most of the sheriff's deputies against the county, them wanting on-call pay. And the good news is that case has now been dismissed, and that's ended.
Okay.
And that's it.
What's up?
Okay. Walter, have you gotten any additional information on the monies that will be coming because of the Purdue lawsuit? I know we're scheduled to get 12 to 16,000 per year for the next 10, 15 years. But have you received anything legally?
No, not yet.
Dr. Monar, you remember that?
With the opioid settlement?
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it was,
But it's a period of years, isn't it?
I'm sorry, sir?
Is there a number of years that we will get that money?
I believe it's 16 years, but it's a small amount. I'm not sure how much it is off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
But I can come back and brief you on all that if you want. If that's something that y'all are interested in doing, especially on a regional basis, we can talk about that as well.
Okay. Could I also remember that money should go directly to alcohol and drug abuse?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I remember, I think it's like 12,000. So I think, I'm not sure, somewhere along there. All right, and also,
Mr. Chairman, I know those cases, there's still other cases pending. This is just a small settlement against certain companies, but I think there are other cases that are still pending, so.
That's not the big one?
Right.
okay. At this time, I would like to recognize Dr. William Monar from Lower Savannah Council of Governments. Like to add anything?
One thing, on Monday, the SCIP grants from the Rural Infrastructure Authority were due. We looked at 2 communities here in Allendale County, had conversations with Ulmer. I don't think we put anything in, but we did for the town of Allendale, and the total on that project was $5.8 million that went into the Rural Infrastructure Authority for sewer and water.
Is that total replacement or expansion or what?
I'm not sure about the details. We have 15 of them, and I haven't been able to keep up, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. We don't have new business, but we do have some new business, so we're going to go into new business at this time. I like that. I should have added this in my report, but I didn't. But when did we have? About a week ago, we had the police consolidation report.
Oh, yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, last Wednesday. And it went well. And it was suggested to us to form a police consolidation committee with representation from the county, the municipalities, the 2 chiefs, and sheriff. So I guess we'll reach out to those to get a nomination, and I guess I'd like to nominate myself, since I'm the head of the police, the public safety committee, and I'd take any recommendations from the floor for a councilman. Any other council member would like to serve?
Mr. Chair, I would.
Okay. Any discussion?
How many do you need?
I think we need to leave it at 2, so we don't have a quorum. So we don't have to have a public meeting.
But other than, even though you have these meetings that all council can attend if they wanted to, if they wanted to be involved in it?
Sure.
Because it's going to be announced to the public anyway.
And none of this is set in stone. I just we kind of talked about a few things, but with nothing set in stone, if you think we need more, we can add more. But, me and Mr. Robertson was thinking maybe 1 from Ulmer, 1 from Sycamore, 2 from the town of Allendale, 2 from Fairfax, both chiefs, a representative from the sheriff's department, and 2 from council. But that's open for discussion.
Yeah, I think that should give us a good number of 11 individual cross-section from throughout the whole county. And whether we have 2 or 3 from county council, as Matt indicated, 3 makes a quorum of council members, but here again, we're more or less part of a committee, so we are tackling a different problem. And from an ethical standpoint of view, it may not be considered a quorum of council people, since it's not a county council meeting. So I think we can revisit that and get Walter to kind of take a look at it and see if the 2 or 3 will make any difference whatsoever. So, and if we can have 3, as I told Matt, I would certainly buy out to Councilwoman Taylor, but if we can have 3, I would like to be part of that committee. So,
You should probably have an odd number on that.
And it's no big deal, we can, it's easy, we can handle it.
yeah, and it's not set in stone. This is a recommendation. We can discuss it, but I think I wasn't at the presentation from the consultant, but I think it's probably would be a good thing that we move as quickly as we can. And the more reps we have from the county, whether it be from the municipality or from county council, from the chief or law enforcement, the more input we can get from those segments, I think the better off we will be to come up with a plan.
Yeah, and with Chairman Gooding's blessings, I will reach out to these people to try to get their nominations, and we'll get something set up as soon as possible. For those of y'all that didn't attend, the presentation was very thorough. Basically, in a nutshell, if we do nothing to update our county sheriff's department to today's standards and to provide 24-hour protection, we're going to need to add about $800,000 more to our current sheriff budget of about $750. So it's going to be quite an investment, and we're going to have to dig deep for some money. But I think in year 1, the initial investment was somewhere around $2 million? That was providing new vehicles, new equipment for all the deputies, and getting their salaries up to standard. And then if we decided to go with a consolidation effort, of course, it would be more. And then there's an option for a countywide police consolidation, which would require a referendum to do that. So anyway, we got a few choices to choose from, and we will get this committee formed, and we'll get on it and hopefully have something to report at the next meeting.
Mr. Chair, in the future, I hope that we, as council, can get together to discuss among ourselves, so we can decide what we want to do instead of just come out and just say, okay, these are the people that's going to be on there, because we need to give everybody the opportunity. So I will hope in the future that
I understand.
we do that.
And granted, I was put in this spot at the last second, so
And
I didn't think it was going to be my topic to discuss.
And I understand too, because I mean, Mr. Robertson wasn't even there, and I was there, so.
Right.
So that's why I volunteered, but I mean.
I understand.
I just like for us in the future, any of the committee comes available, that we talk about it first among ourselves, then bring it to the public.
And that's why I say to Matt, when we were discussing it, that I would certainly give you first choice if you, and you volunteer. You didn't hear from me, so.
Well, it's just that the sidebar meetings, I just feel like us have it openly, not do sidebars, and let's just talk about it and see what's best for this community. Because you still got 2 other council members that may want to serve, and they didn't have the opportunity to say so.
I wouldn't call it a sidebar meeting, it was just sharing information, so, and Matt got my take on it, and I gave it.
He didn't even ask me for mine, that's what I'm saying. He didn't ask me for mine, I was present. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right,
We'll call it a
moving
sidebar.
forward. Old business, second reading of Project Connection, resolution and ordinance, former 4-star facility.
I move that is this the second reading?
Yes, sir.
Is this going to be a third reading?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no hearing required or anything? Okay, I move that we accept this as a second reading for 4-star.
All right, got a motion, have a second?
Motion?
Second. Did you second?
Yeah,
You made a motion.
well, he made motion?
Mhm.
Okay, second. Okay.
All right, so have a-
Chairman, can I tell you one thing?
Yes, sir.
The resolution is already passed, it only takes 1 reading. That was the last meeting. So you're just having a second reading on the ordinance at this point. Y'all passed the resolution last week.
Okay. So we've got a motion to accept the second reading of Project Connection ordinance.
Yes.
And we have a second. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, the third and final reading for the amendments to the ordinance number 93-74, known as the Animal Control Ordinance.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the third and final reading.
We got a motion that we accept the third and final reading. Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And executive session.
Chairman, make a motion that we take a 5-minute break and go into executive session.
Second?
Second.
All right, got a motion second to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Back into session?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Robertson.
make a motion that we notify our auditor that the county will use the same millage as the year 21-22 for the new budget year 22-23.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize our interim administrator, Mr. Joe Moe, to sign electronic signature for the new airport grant.
All right, we got a motion. All right, so we got a motion to allow Mr. Mole to sign the grant. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
make a motion that we budget $35,000 for RTA, and as our payment for this year of 22-23, with the understanding that we will, in future years, honor their request.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pay RTA $35,000 for this
Fiscal year.
All those, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Chairman, make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it or whatever.
Adjourned.